Thank you for your interest in the Downtown Aurora Visioning Workshop. This presentation has been recorded after we held the meeting for people who were unable to make it. It was held on Thursday, January 21st, 2016 at the Waubonsie Community College, and my name is Lindsay Bailey and I am the project manager for the updated downtown plan. The first slide shows our visual agenda for the meeting. To the right of Leland Tower, we have the objectives for the meeting that were to learn about the project, to identify shared priorities, and to help chart a course for the future for downtown Aurora. Just below the North Island Center, below the trees, we have the rough agenda of the meeting. We ended up doing our table discussions before the keypad polling due to some technical difficulties. And then across the bottom of the slide shows our general rules that we were trying to keep in mind during our table discussions to keep things productive and moving along, and so that everybody would have a good time. CMAP is the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. We were established in 2005 through state legislation that merged two agencies to plan comprehensively for economic prosperity and quality of life. We serve the third largest metropolitan region in the U.S., with 7 counties, 284 municipalities, and more units of local government than New York and LA combined. Our website is cmap.illinois.gov if you'd like to learn more about CMAP. So why is the City of Aurora working with us? There are some benefits. The city applied for local technical assistance to update the 2005 Downtown Master Plan, Seize the Future. This work it was a grant that we have agreed to do with the city, and it is done at no cost to the city. And it is all our labor that will be the work. There's no money changing hands. And we are committed to implementation, so even after the project is complete, we will continue to check in with the city to see that work continues on the project. We have an extensive network of allied organizations, and we can use that to help identify potential funding opportunities. In 2010, CMAP released an award-winning long-range comprehensive plan called Go to 2040. We are about to launch the next plan. February 24th is the launch event, and that next plan will continue to build off and improve upon the work that was done for this plan. Go to 2040 has 4 major themes: livable communities, human capital, efficient governance, and regional mobility. The most relevant Go to 2040 recommendations for this project are those concerned with changes in land use and housing that allow for more compact, walkable, mixed-use development with a range of housing options, improvements to bicycling and walking conditions to increase the percentage of people using active transportation, support for economic innovation, as well as improvements to public transportation to increase the transit mode share. The LTA program, which started with the release of the Go to 2040 plan in 2010, provides technical assistance to communities around the region. This map shows where we have worked on projects, and we have completed over 100 local planning projects to date. For downtown Aurora, we hope to complement and enhance the Seize the Future downtown plan with an increased focus on walkability, livability, and arts and culture. I'm sure many of you understand what a downtown master plan is. Aurora has a long history of doing a lot of planning, especially in the downtown area. The updated master plan will serve to outline a desired vision for the area's future. It will provide a roadmap to help the city and residents achieve the vision with specific actions and responsible parties. This plan should be adaptable and have enough broad-based support to be something that the current mayor is excited to get behind and the next mayor will want to continue pursuing. The last master plan for downtown Aurora was completed in 2005. Things were looking pretty good in 2005, but a lot has happened since then, and across the region we're still recovering from the crash. So we want to take a fresh look at the data and the market realities, and this new plan will help the city to make decisions and set priorities, and that can help to obtain grants and attract the business community. We are in the early stage of assessing existing conditions. We have completed nearly 24 stakeholder interviews. We are reviewing past plans and data, and we're estimating that this project should take about 14 months. We'll be publishing the existing conditions report in the spring, and we'll put that up on our webpage. We will spend the spring and summer working on developing recommendations and drafting the plan. We are also trying to reach as many people as possible through our outreach activities. So throughout this process, in addition to the workshop, we'll have our online survey available for 2 months, maybe, we'll just say 2 months. We will have a Spanish version that should be available before the end of January, and we will have iPad kiosks that have the survey that we will be able to move to different locations around the downtown. We will also be reaching out to various groups and working with our steering committee along the way. We expect to have another public open house or workshop towards the end of the summer, and we'll work with the city to get the plan adopted in the late fall. Our study area is shown here in the map in the red outline, which was roughly the same area used for the 2005 master plan. When people think of downtown, they tend to think of the core area around Stolp Island. This is the area called the downtown core and the downtown fringe in the zoning code. In our existing conditions report, we'll be distinguishing between the core and the rest of the study area. One of the handouts that was given at the meeting was a historic timeline of events in the history of downtown Aurora. And since it's impossible to fit all the history of downtown Aurora on 2 pages, we tried to pull out significant events that were related to planning, economic development, arts and culture, transportation, and sustainability. And we'll be adding a couple more items to this as people have pointed out some things that we're missing. So the line that runs throughout the slides tracks population estimates of the downtown census tracts, and the numbered points in red refer to previous planning publications. So you can see that a lot of planning was done between 2005 and 2010. And this timeline will be available on our webpage. We've also seen a lot of improvements on the ground in recent years. There are these streetscaping upgrades on Downer Place that include traffic calming, pedestrian safety improvements, planters, and stormwater management best practices. And as I said at the meeting, this is just an image of Google Street View, which it's incredible to have such a great looking downtown, beautiful sunny day with the flowers blooming that it's about as you're as likely to have a really great driver's license picture as have such a good looking downtown image. So you can see a lot of visible improvements. There have also been a lot of new developments like the library, the Waubonsie Community College, and the associated riverfront path improvements, and of course the River Edge Park, which has already drawn many visitors to Aurora. And all of these efforts are the result of years of hard work and planning and had been recommended in previous plans. So just to highlight the importance of making plans. And the amenities that Aurora has to build upon are really incredible. Just a couple feet from downtown, like from the downtown core, you're pretty much in the middle of nature along the river. You have important cultural and architectural landmarks, beautiful public sculptures, and really unique buildings like the BPO Elks. But even the buildings that aren't iconic, standout buildings offer an incredible urban fabric that so many communities would love to have. But yet, as you can see in this picture, so many of these storefronts are vacant. And I know so many people in Aurora, the people that came out to the meeting, are really passionate and they want to see these storefronts filled and see the shops thriving. One thing we've learned in our outreach is that people in Aurora are very passionate about this city and the downtown in particular. So in addition to our stakeholder interviews and our reviews of previous plans, we're also analyzing a lot of data. This map shows where people who live downtown are working. Those are the turquoise dots. And then this map shows where people who work in the downtown study area are coming in from, shown as purple dots. We're analyzing crash data to see if there are problem areas or hotspots for pedestrians, bicyclists, and drivers. And this map is showing where the number of crashes within 100 feet of each intersection. We also found that there were a number of pedestrian crashes along Broadway close to Stolp Island, and they happened more frequently in the late evening hours, so maybe there's a lighting problem we can look into. In terms of mobility, we're looking at conditions for various modes, such as walking. There is a book called Walkable City, and the author says that in order for people to choose walking over other modes, there are 4 conditions that must be met. The walk must be useful, safe, comfortable, and interesting. So that means that you're going to have most of your daily needs met close by at stores. Pedestrians are safe and feel safe. The building scale as you walk is comfortable, and the buildings are unique with interesting window displays and things to see. The Aurora zoning ordinance does emphasize pedestrian comfort and walkability in the downtown, as well as include standards for new developments to maintain pedestrian access. We'll also be looking at facilities, programs, and policies aimed to enhance bicycling around town, as well as connections to regional paths. We'll be looking at the challenges and opportunities for transit and ways to increase the transit mode share. For a city with so much transit, the ridership in Aurora is pretty low. We'll also look at driving issues such as parking and major gateways that you encounter as you enter downtown in a car. And I'll also have to get a new photo of New York Street. For topics under the umbrella of livability and vitality, we'll be analyzing housing data to understand trends in supply and demand. We'll be reviewing arts and culture programs, policies, and look at some of the current arts activities happening through various agencies and downtown organizations. We'll be crunching the numbers for economic development trends and patterns to better understand the best direction the city can take. Our existing conditions report will also talk about community services and education in the study area. We're reviewing past plans related to sustainability in the Fox River, and we'll be discussing what has been accomplished to date. And of course, we're going to look at historic preservation. We've got 20 historic buildings on the Stolp Island National Register Historic District, including Paramount Theater and the GAR. And there's also a state historic tax credit program that is set to expire this year, and that has implications for downtown redevelopment. There are a lot of topics to cover, and I'm going to apologize in advance because this report is going to be a long document. So, along with our research and data collection, we have released the online public survey. This is a platform that we would like to promote for collecting additional input from as many people as possible. We used a program called MetroQuest, and this program enables us to download the data, create maps, and charts of the information collected, and all the information from the user is kept anonymous. So I'm going to walk through the various slides of the online survey. And so this is the introductory page, and the bottom left corner has some scrolling questions to set the stage for what we'd like to get from you from the survey. As I mentioned, the Spanish version should be available soon. So you'll click the green Begin button, and it'll take you to the second page about transportation priorities. Each page begins with a pop-up instructional window telling you what to do. So if you close that, you can see on the left we have a list of transportation priorities. So you can click on each one to get a description of that priority with a little more information and a photo, and then you can drag those above the line, and you'll want to put them in prioritized order 1 through 5. You can also use the comment box to add a comment about each particular priority, and you can also suggest another item in the bottom left corner. The next page is called Vitality, mainly because other things that make a place great didn't fit within our limited space. So it's the same as the mobility page, that you are going to drag your top 5 and rank them, priorities, above the line. The fourth page is a map where you can help to identify opportunities and challenges in and around the study area. When you drag a pin onto the map, there is a drop-down list. So here's an example that will help you to get a little bit more specific. So for this one, I zoomed into River Edge Park and I put a community and the arts pin down, and I'm going in the drop-down to select public space amenity. And with each pin that you put in, you also have the ability to add a comment. And we're going to take all of these points that people add to the map and create an interactive Google map so that other people can see what the community has to say and what they think is great and where they think there are opportunities for improvement. So I might not have mentioned it, but it helps if you can zoom in so that you can make sure to get your pin on the correct location. And the final slide is to give us a little bit more information about you. This is optional, but we really find this information helpful to understand how often you're coming downtown, what your main reasons are, and if we don't have your main reasons listed, I apologize. You can always tell us. And there are going to be some icons off to the side in the online version that will enable you to share the survey through social media. So at the meeting, we did some keypad polling, and we had a test question to make sure the keypads were working, and then we asked people where they lived, and the results were shown, and we'll publish that information later. Where do you live? Where do you work? How do you get around? And what are your top priorities for downtown mobility improvements? So these, as you might remember, are from the online survey, so we will still be able to collect input from people about their preferences. Top priorities for vitality. And then we also asked what people would like to see more of in downtown, and we asked them to select their top 3. And we asked some demographic questions: gender, race, age, and then we had a table discussion, and we covered these 5 questions, starting with what do you love most about downtown Aurora, and what are some types of businesses or events that you leave Aurora to find but would like to see downtown. And the third question was, besides having more destinations to walk to and uncontrollable things like the weather, what are some ways to encourage people to walk more? Fourth, what are some barriers and or challenges to revitalizing downtown Aurora? And the final question, what are some ways that downtown Aurora could leverage its strong arts and culture scene to attract businesses, restaurants, and more residents downtown? So those covered our questions, and then we brought everybody back to talk about the next steps from the project. So we will continue to collect feedback through our online survey, which is available at aurora.metroquest.com. We will be publishing the existing conditions report, and we will continue to solicit public input on relevant topics. So that might include some targeted outreach activities. And then we will synthesize our outreach findings and develop the final recommendations and write the plan with our detailed action items and responsible parties. Thank you again, and please visit the survey and give us your input.